Hello friends, welcome to Code Semantic and welcome to the video tutorial of Entity Framework 6. We are studying Code First approach. So this video will cover migration related concept in Code First approach. So let us understand what is migration. So you can say migration is a process of applying any changes done in a domain models to the database. See, what is basically Code First approach? From your code, your database get created. Okay, so this migration will allows you whatever changes you made in your domain models, which is nothing but our domain classes, that changes get applied to your database also without losing the data. That is nothing but a migration. So before studying the migration and its type, first of all we will understand default behavior in entity framework. So let us understand the database initializer in Code First approach. So the first initializer is create database if not exist, which is also a default database initializer. And how it works? Basically, it creates a database only if it does not exist. Okay. And till now, whatever application or whatever example we have seen in Code First approach, there we use this create database if not exist initializer. Okay, the advantage of using this database initializer is that it prevents accidental loss of data. See, just assume that if this was not a default database initializer, default database initializer is something like this: create always new database. In that case, what happens? Whenever you run an application, new database get created and your old data will lost. So to prevent the accidental loss of data, definitely we can go with this approach. But the disadvantage of this database initializer is that it will do not allow to accommodate the changes that you've done in the code side to a database. Okay, so that is the disadvantage. I'm going to show you practically also. First of all, we'll understand all the database initializer and then we will see it practically. Now the second one is drop create database when model changes. The name is itself explanatory, right? So whenever your model get changed, okay, whenever your model get changed, at that time what happened? It will create new database and old database will be dropped. Now this database initializer is useful when you are early stage of development. Okay, at that time data is not important. Your model is changing frequently, your table schema is changing frequently. So in that case your data might not be important. In that case you can go with this approach. So whenever there is a difference between model classes and table schema, the old DB will be dropped and new will be created with her changes, right? Let us see the next one. The next one is drop create database always. Okay, so again, as the name suggests, this will always drop and creates a new database. So whenever you are testing an application with a fresh data, or you want to test your application with a fresh data, in that case you can go with this approach, right? So every time you run the application, old database will be dropped and new database will be created. Okay, now let us see the fourth one, which is latest in entity framework. So this is migrate database to latest version. Okay, so all the upper three database initializer, okay, means this create database not if not exist. What is the drawback of this? It will not allow you to accommodate the changes. Here, this will allow you to accommodate the changes, second one, but your old data will be lost. Here, always your database get dropped and new database created. So again, your data is going to be lost. But here, what you can do, whatever there are changes in your model, okay, you can migrate that changes to your database without losing existing data. So that is the advantage of migrate database to latest version. Okay, so let us understand this database initializer practically, and then we will see what are the types of migration in code first approach. So let us switch to Visual Studio. So here I'm using the same console application that we have created while studying default code first convention and data annotation methods. Okay, so as you can see here, what is my database name? My database name is studentdb annotation. Okay, and as we know, what is the default database initializer? Create database if not exist, right? Now the database is also already there in my SQL server. Let me show you. So as you can see here, this is the database. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the schema. Okay, I'm going to change the schema. That means, say, let us add one extra model, or we can add one extra property, right? Or extra column. Okay, columns are represented by property. So what I do, uh, in student class or in student model, I'm going to add one property, say email. Okay, okay. So now my model get changed, right? Now let us execute the program. Actually, this record is already there, so I'm just going to change this to 2. Definitely, since our schema get changed, it will throw an exception. So let us execute it. I'm pressing Ctrl F5. Yes. So as you can see here, what is an exception? The model backing the MyDB context had changed since the database was created. Consider using code first migration to update the database. Means it only creates a new database when it does not exist, and if there is a mismatch between your model and database, in that case it will throw an exception. Now let us try the another database initializer. Okay, so whenever you want to change your database initializer, you have to define it in your db context class constructor. So there is one static method of database class, that is set initializer. It is an generic method, so you have to give the name of your context class, and to this method you have to pass a object of, now we are going to try a new database initializer, that is drop database, drop and create database if model changes. Okay, so again you have to pass the MyDB context class as a database because it is a generic constructor. That's it. Okay, now we know that our database changed because we added new property, not database change or model change. So according to that, we want to update our database. Okay, so let us go to SQL Server. We first of all check whether there is data or not. So as you can see here, we added one record of BTech in program class. Okay, that means in program table, and at that time ID was 101. So let us check it, and even you can observe that in students table there was no email column, right? Roll number, name, birth date, is bona fide, contact number, and program ID. Even we can check the data of our program table, which we renamed by course. So as you can see here, this is our data 101 BTech 4, and fees is something 5 lakh. Okay, now let me close this because if it is in open state, it may not create a new database. That's why I closed it. So let us execute. Since we set our database initializer to drop create database if model changes, so let us observe the output. So Actually, it is showing this error that this database is currently in use. So what will I do? I'll directly create a SQL server and we will run this application again. So again, I am executing the application. Now you can see the output that database is created. Okay, so changes are also get merged or migrate to our database. So let us see the SQL Server output. As you can see here, see the email column get added, and even the change record means we change the ID to 102 that get added, and even our old data is lost means our old record has ID 101. This record has ID 102. That means old data is lost, totally new database is created, right? So I hope you understand this. Now let us try the third database initializer, which means always create a database, always drop and recreate a database. Okay, so let us try it. Switch to Visual Studio. So again, you have to do the changes here only in your DB context class constructor. Here I have to say drop create database always, and again I have to pass my DB context class name. Okay, and the same method you are going to use. And again, what I am going to do, I am going to change some data here. So I'll say 103. Here I'll say BCA. Say duration is 6, and pages say something 2 lakhs, and that's it. Okay, so here we are going to check whether my data is created or database is created newly. It means old data should be lost, and we already observed that there is one record in our old DB. Again, I have to close the SQL server. If it is in use, then it will not allow me, it will throw an exception. So I'm going to close this. So let us run the application. So as you can see here, we got the output that is database created. Okay, so let us check it in SQL Server again. So as you can see here, this is totally a fresh entry. Our old data is lost. That means definitely our database is recreated, old database is dropped. We didn't make any schema side changes. We kept all the columns and models same. So there are no changes at schema level. We can just identify it with the help of that record contents. Okay. We are going to see the next initializer or last initializer, that is migrate database to latest version, in a next video while studying actual migration. So this video is just about introduction to your database initializers and as well as what is migration. Now we are going to see the types of migration that we are going to study from the next video. There are two types of migration. First one is automated migration. In automated migration, you do not need to write any command or anything. So whenever there will be a change made in your domain classes, it get migrated to your database. Okay, it will happen automatically. And next one is code based migration. In code based migration, you have to write a command, but it will also provide you a more control on the migration. So how it provides more control on migration, we are going to see this part practically. So in the next video, we will first of all see automated migration, and then after we will see what is code based migration. Thank you for watching.